Now let us take up the next important issue of the chapter, that is Gupta period. The history of Gupta period starts from 4th century CE and it has been reconstructed from literature, coins and inscriptions, especially Prayag Prashasti. Prayag Prashasti is also known as Allahabad pillar inscription and it is composed by Harishen, the court poet of Samudragupta. The next question: what did subjects think about their rulers? The rulers thought that the kings demanded high taxes and the peasants opposed to this. And we come to know from Jatkas, that is Buddhist literature, and Panchatantra, the stories. One more issue of this chapter is divine kingship. To present themselves, the kings presented themselves as superior and they claimed high status. For example, the Kushanas, they claimed high status by adorning high sounding titles like Devaputra, meaning son of God. And we have already discussed Prayag Prashasti. Now let us take up the next issue, changing countryside, popular perception of the king. यानी किंग्स के बारे में जनता क्या सोचती थी? तो वो सोचती थी कि वो विकेट हैं किंग्स और उनसे टैक्सेस बहुत ज़्यादा लेते हैं. Next issue, strategies for increasing production. We have already discussed. And differences in ruler society and land grants. ये आप लोगों ने डिमांड की थी. इन दो पॉइंट्स को elaborately हम डील करेंगे. So popular perception of king. We come to know from Panchatantra and Jatkas that the kings were considered wicked and they collected taxes. What were the strategies adopted to increase agricultural production during 6th century BCE to 600 CE? The use of iron-tipped plowshare, use of paddy agriculture or transplantation of paddy, use of wells and tanks in the semi-arid area. Hoe agriculture was practiced in Punjab, Rajasthan and hilly tracts of northeastern and east central part of India. This iron-tipped plowshare was usually used in alluvial soil and hilly tracts and semi-arid we have already discussed. Was there any difference in the ruler's society or not? This is one of the important questions. Then we will say on the basis of the Buddhist text and as well as on the basis of the Sangam literature, we come to know that there was a difference in the ruler's society. In North India, as Buddhist tradition refers that there were landless agriculturers, laborers, small peasants and large landlords. Through Sangam text, we come to know in South India there was also difference. Large landowners were there and they were known as Vellas. Plowmen and the small peasants were known as Uzahavar and slaves were known as Adamai. So there was a difference in the ruler society. So this is the short form or the gist. Gehpatis for the rich landowners and owners or the masters of household were also known as Gehpati, and Tamil literature, that is Sangam literature, also indicate that there was a social difference on the basis of the land resources. Now this is the main thing that you all wanted, that is land grants. The lands that was granted to people known as land grant. जो लैंड ग्रांट में दी जाती थी, दान में दी जाती थी, उसे लैंड ग्रांट्स कहते हैं. What are the resources? What sources suggest that there was a land grant? The inscription suggests that there was a land grants. For example, copper plate inscription of Prabhavati Gupta, who was daughter of Chandragupta II, and she was ruler of Vakataka because she was married to Vakataka rulers in Deccan. And Manusmriti also indicates that there was a land grant system in India. But there were some exceptions. The women cannot access land resources. But we come to know through copper plate inscription that there was an exception. Prabhavati Gupta, being the ruler, she had an access over land and she donated lands. Why land grants were given? What was the strategies behind land grants? The first strategy was why these rulers or the rich persons or Gehpatis donated lands. the first strategy to increase agricultural area, to win allies, लोगों का सहयोग प्राप्त करने के लिए, to strengthen their political power, to protect themselves and to project themselves as supermen, superior or some authority, and to earn religious merit. पुण्य कमाने के लिए भी करते थे. So land grants was given by kings, and it is recorded in inscriptions, and some land grants were also given by common people also. And these records are these land grants were usually given to religious institutions or brahmanas, which are known as agrahar. तो ब्राह्मणों को जो भूमि दान में दी जाती थी उसे अग्रहार कहते थे. We have already discussed all these things. Now, the inscription give us an idea. Land grants give us an idea about ruler people, brahmanas, peasants, and others. There were regional variation in the size of land donated. Land grants was made to extend agriculture to the new areas, to win alliance by making grants of land. Land grants provided an insight into the relationship between peasants and state. और लैंड ग्रांट से हमें पीजेंट्स और स्टेट के रिलेशन के साथ साथ पता चलता है कि इस काल में कुछ नए ग्रुप्स भी इमर्ज हो रहे थे, जैसे पैस्टोरलिस्ट, फिशर फोक, हंटर गैदरर्स, सेडिमेंट्री आर्टिसंस, शिफ्टिंग कल्टिवेटर्स, जिनके बारे में हमें इनसे पता चलता है. अब आइए इस दौरान यानी 600 ईसा पूर्व से लेकर 600 ईस्वी सन के बीच में क्या नए शहर विकसित हुए और उनके ट्रेड रिलेशंस थे. We will say there were new cities just as Patliputra, Ujjaini, Puhar and Mathura. So during 6th century BCE, urban centers emerged just as Ujjaini, Patliputra, Mathura, Puhar, and through votive inscriptions. Votive means दानात्मक, जो गिफ्ट के रूप में जो दिए जाते हैं inscriptions, that is known, जो गिफ्ट के बारे में बताते हैं, that is known as votive inscriptions. इनसे हमें जानकारी मिलती है. फिशर फोक, वीवर्स, स्क्राइबर्स, कारपेंटर्स, पॉटर्स, गोल्ड स्मिथ, ये नए जो वर्किंग क्लास इमर्ज कर रहे थे सिटीज़ में एलिट क्लास भी रहते थे जो कि फाइन पोट्रीज का यूज़ करते थे, ऑर्नामेंट्स एंड टूल्स एंड वेपन्स, वेसल्स का भी यूज़ करते थे. तरह तरह के फिगराइंस भी मिलते हैं. और यहाँ पर न्यू ऑक्यूपेशंस भी डेवलप हुए. और ये जो न्यू ऑक्यूपेशंस थे उनके अपने स्पेशल गिल्ड्स या ट्रेडिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस थे. Artisans and traders, they organized themselves in guilds and shrenis, and guilds procured raw material, regulated their production, and they marketed the finished products in the towns, and they traded. The trade was not confined only in the subcontinent of India, but it was extended to the east and the north Africa, as well as to the West Asia and Southeast Asia and China. The things which were exported were spices, fine pearls, ivory, silk cloth, and medicinal plants. Now let us see which are the areas and how it was traded. The India had contact with the countries on the eastern side along the Bay of Bengal, as well as on the western side of North Africa, East Asia, and some parts of Europe. Successful merchants were called as Masuvattam in Tamil literature and Sethis and Satvahanas in Prakrit. Wide range of goods were exported. And for exporting or for trading, coins took place. Let us see what type of coins were used. During 500 BCE to 600 BCE, punch-marked coins were used. These coins were made from copper and silver. Coins had inscriptions, pictographic representations. It also depicts which ruler issued these coins. And now, gold coins were circulated and issued for the first time in the 1st century of CE by Kushanas, vertically identical in weight to those issued by the contemporary Roman emperors. The exchanges were facilitated by introduction of coinage. We have seen that punch-marked coins were used, and these coins were issued by kings, merchants, bankers, and town people. And in the during the first centuries, The first coins bearing the names and images were issued by Indo-Greek rulers, and the first gold coins were issued by Kushana rulers in the 1st century CE. And in India, we get hordes of the Roman coins, especially in South India, and this indicates that there was a close connection between South India and the Roman Empire. The coins were also issued by tribal republics, just as Yodhyas of Punjab and Haryana. They issued thousands of copper coins. Gupta rulers who ruled during 4th century CE to the 1st century of CE, and these Gupta rulers issued gold coins, and they were remarkable for their purity, and these coins were facilitated long distance transactions, and Samudragupta was the main ruler of the Gupta Empire who issued for the first time gold coins. Means जो पहला इंडियन रूलर है वो है गुप्ता रूलर्स जिन्होंने की गोल्ड कॉइन्स इशू किए. जो फॉरेन रूलर है जो कि जिन्होंने इंडिया में गोल्ड कॉइन्स इशू किए वो कुशानास है. From 6th century onwards, gold coins are fewer, and historians indicate or suggest that there was a collapse of trade between Roman Empire because Roman Empire का decline हो गया और long distance trade जो था धीरे धीरे उससे affected हो गया और Indian prosperity और states जो थी वो decline करने लगा. Others argue that new states and network of the trade began to emerge around the time through the field of the coins were fewer. Let us see the next issues, how Brahmi and Kharoshti was deciphered and how inscriptions are used by historians. So we have already studied that James Spencer was an officer in Indian Mint and in British East India Company, and he deciphered Ashokan Brahmi script with the help of the Indian Brahmin Pandits by comparing with the Bengali script as well as with the Devanagari script. Now, how Kharoshti script was deciphered? He deciphered, or the European scholars deciphered Kharoshti script by comparing to the Greek script, which is available on the coins of Indo-Greek coins, and it contains the names of the rulers, and the European scholars compared the letters of both the script. For example, symbols of A could be found in both the script for writing names such as Apollodotus. So Kharoshti script was deciphered with the help of comparing to the Greek script by European scholars, and Brahmi script was deciphered by taking help of Indian Pandits by comparing to Bengali script as well as to Devanagari script, and it was deciphered in 1838. What are the problems and how historians interpret inscriptions? So historians interpret the inscriptions by examining content. Last point देखिए, content, style, language, paleography and of the inscription, and epigraphist वो होते हैं जो कि languages को script को पढ़ते हैं, और epigraphy means study of inscription. So by examining content, style, language, paleography of the inscriptions, and epigraphists come to the conclusion they were issued by the same ruler. For example, in Ashokan script, the name Ashok is not mentioned, but there are titles of Devanam P and Piyadasi, so it shows that it was issued by one ruler. What are the limitations of inscriptions? या क्या प्रॉब्लम होती है? तो कई बार इंस्क्रिप्शंस लिमिटेड होते हैं और फेंटली एनग्रेव्ड होते हैं, कभी डैमेज होते हैं, लेटर्स समटाइम्स में मिसिंग होते हैं, एग्जैक्ट मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड इज़ नॉट क्लियर. Inscriptions may not have been lasted ravages of time, and thus what is available at present is simply a fraction of what was written, and inscriptions may not provide a complete idea about the political and economic history. Inscriptions are written from the point of view of the person who commissioned them, so the routine agricultural practice may not be recorded in the inscriptions. Now let us see what new words emerged in this chapter. So inscriptions are written on stone, metal and pottery. Epigraphy means study of inscription. Janapada, we have already discussed, the land where Jana or the people or the clan set its foot or settles down. Oligarchy, a form of government where power is exercised by a group of men. Girnar inscription. The inscription is mentioning about the achievements of a Shaka ruler, Rudraraman, who built Sudarshan Lake. Manusmriti, legal text of early India. Harshcharit, it is a biography of Harshvardhan, the last Indian ruler who ruled over Kannauj and the north of India, and it was composed by his court poet Banabhatta. Agrahara, I have already mentioned, land granted to Brahmanas, and the Brahmin is exempted from tax, and that Brahmin has the right to collect the taxes and dues from the local people. Votive inscription, important है. Votive inscriptions are record gifts made to religious institutions, यानी दानात्मक अभिलेख. Numismatic, study of coins. Then Periplus of Erythraean Sea. Periplus of the Erythraean Sea was composed by an ominous Greek sailor, 1st century BCE. Periplus is a Greek word mentioning sailing around. Erythraean was the Greek name for the Red Sea, and this you will use especially about the trade and commerce. So, thank you, children.